a superhero movie?
No, but that's how I feel when I hit my goal waiver roll.
Can Charlie Ones for Road really do all this?
They can help you 20% of your week. But I need you to help with them. Do you like emo Chuck or cowboy Chuck?
Bro, lose everything but your Big Mac. See if you qualify at road.co/Chuck.
Months has never been more important. That's why we're working with the NBA to inspire mental fitness in everyone, on and off the court. Conference finals to find out. Welcome back to Western Conference Finals. It's presented by 18&T Game 1. A 4-point lead for the T-Wolves is about to start the fourth. Defense, the headliner in the 32 points. That's following first half stats brought to you by ESPN, the official sports book of ESPN. Once Minnesota stopped fouling Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, their defense on him was special. And it's usually a team effort. In that instance, Noah does a great job individually. No, he does a great job, but it's not, can you do it for a quarter? Can you do it for a half? Can you put together a full 48 minutes against Shea Gilgeous-Alexander? And that's going to be the challenge, limiting your turnovers and making sure you make it difficult on him. This is the shot chart, and obviously the 3-point shot for Shea has been a struggle for much of the playoffs. He was 3 for 4 in Game 7, but every one of these shots that you're seeing, almost all of them were contested. And what makes SGA such a great player, how efficient he normally is. So he clearly wasn't. Meanwhile, in Minnesota, Julius Randle is just playing spectacular basketball. No, he's played a spectacular first half. And what makes it even more impressive, there was a 5 or 6 minute stretch where Anthony Edwards was in the back. Not only did he carry his team, he increased the lead while Anthony Edwards is out. Those were huge minutes by Julius Randle. Well, at least this Timberwolves team, they're playoff tested. This is their 6th series in the last 2 years. I said earlier they won 6. They've obviously won 4. But this is their 6th series that they played in 2 years. This is a lot of effort. Meanwhile, Jimmy Williams pulls up. Again, it was really denying SGA. Well, that's the first trigger you pull there, right? They're pressuring SGA. So you're going to let Jalen Williams ruin your offense and get Shea off the ball. Edwards pulls up. I mean, drop him in the house over there. Awesome. As we said, everybody's offers.
Hey, Mike, one thing says he felt that his team was just a little bit out of rhythm offensively. He said defensively, he thought they were pretty decent. He said he gave up 48 points when Julius Randle was shooting like that. So he felt like they did pretty well. He said our defense kept us in it. We were only at like 4 at the end of the half. That's the good news. He said offensively, we just got to get a little earlier with the passing, but spacing has to be a little better. He said the solid 15 versus the solid Denver, a lot different. We'll just figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Style, I'd say, it's a flick of things. Edwards just falls on Gilgeous-Alexander. That's 3,000 on Edwards. What's going on locker room? This side.
Hey, down by 4, after all that, like bad offensive battle, right? And adjust, I mean, a controllable things you can take care of. Active spacing needs to be better. Run out ahead of the ball, get into windows, play, right? Early passing needs to be better, right? And then you got to play more hurdles, and you need energy plans in, right? And you know, some years to do that. Yeah, when that come up out of it,
So when you look at it, considering how much they struggled offensively to be only down 4.
Yeah, Shea and Jalen Williams are combined 4 for 21. It's only a 4-1 game coming out of that.
Williams, that's a wide open look.
He's an all-star for the first time. And when they're sending that much defensive attention in the direction of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, his shot man has got to enter the ball.
This is the second quarter, game 7 after a slow start. OKC against Denver.
And I love this, let Jerry bring it up, take some pressure off, Shea, let him work off the ball.
Jump shot, and back to go. It's so fun. They've taken 46 shots, 31 of them are threes.
They have, and they're aggressive with the 3-point. They made a lot of 3-point, but there's still a lot of need on that low.
There's a steal, so they're going to turn it on. NBA trying to find his spot. So, it's his up there, we'll check down there. But now, he can take over, he can have to go down a little bit. He's so tall, he's so perfect, the OKC crowd is feeling it. Using the offense with the lefty. Drops over there with the left.
Why is he rushed in your opinion, Rich?
Well, it just, you're a young player, you're trying to get to your spots. You know, again, he's got all of the skills. But like fell down there pretty hard right there. But that's what happens when you're a young player sometimes in these moments. You want to do well, you're trying to rush, you're trying to find those moments.
Oh, man, let's shake it up. Again was his third shot.
And here, look, catch it there, take your time. You ain't gotta rush, you gotta go quick. Get that space, go with the right hand hook. No one will block that right hand hook.
And this to me changes the game plan. He showed this early this season before he went down with the injury. The off the bounce game and the passing is going to change what he can do as a dynamic offensive player.
Sometimes his impact goes under the radar. When you have the Alexander, when you have the emergence of Jalen Williams, they're the Punsies, their leading rebounder and shot blocker. He's their third leading scorer, averaging just under 16 points, just under 10 points. He's one of the best shot blockers throughout the playoffs of anybody. Let's get on board.
And who is going to show up for that Minnesota big team? 2 for 19 when you look at Nasri, DiVincenzo, and Walker.
I think it hits up. Emmanuel's holds up jump shot. That's good.
So from the 19 minutes where he wasn't at the free throw line, but this guy is one of the best in the game at just this. His footwork, 6'6". I wouldn't call him blazingly fast. So his footwork, that hard plant to the step back separation is what gets him a great look and on the close and contact him.
Chance of MVP. He's going to club silver. Of course, between Gildas Alexander and Willie Jokic, it would be Gildas Alexander's first MVP award. That's the case. And for the Thunder, this is actually their largest lead of the game. Minnesota left as many as 9. Switch. Allen's going to go to the line. The 37-year-old in his 18th year in the NBA.
I feel like Conley has had a couple of opportunities. He's missed some bodies in the lane. I like to see him aggressive. If you're just watching Ant Edwards and Julius Randle work, that's going to be an issue.
He's 104 point game tonight, which is his third conference final. As we look at the upcoming conference final schedule, TNT Wednesday in the East. The next will host the Pacers game 1, 8 Eastern time. Then back here for game 2 Thursday on ESPN, 8:30. We're shortly thereafter the tip-off. Conley played in the conference final, obviously, last year in Minnesota, back in 2013 with the Memphis Grizzlies. He's been an all-star, he's been an NBA on defense, most respected in locker rooms or around the league as anybody in the league over the last 20 years. Here's the guy, he won for money.
Yeah, Mike Conley. You know, that first conference finals, he beat my 61 win Spurs team. It was a 1 versus 8, but he was in fitness. That floor were going well.
Hi, Harold.
Hello.
So Walter is in the hospital.
What? What happened?
He has some, like a fast heart rate
Oh no, when did this happen?
last night.
Oh my God, that's not good.
No.
Gosh.
So we're learning the refuah shlema.
Yes.
I just spoke to him. So
Okay.
feeling okay, but it's just he had a rapid heart rate. So
Wow.
they're not giving him medicine. He's on anticoagulation. So
He's had it before?
no, here
Oh,
he
there
is.
he is.
Okay, here he is.
Wow, what a quick refuah. Walter.
Yeah,
Come on, Walter.
Zev Ben Liba Zelda.
yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm fine.
Good. Stay
Okay.
fun.
Okay, your test, 19. So the boy lemichtav behema v'chaya, ksivnami sheretz. That means, according to Rabbi Kiva, the word sheretz can be, it's just because they had to write the other types of animals, so they wrote sheretz as well. But there's no real chiddush. Kiditana devei Rabbi Shmuel. Kol parsha shenemra v'nishnis. Any parsha that's repeated, lo nishnis ela b'shvil davar shnis chadish ba. It's repeated because there's some chiddush there. Rabbi Eliezer, who held that by other chataos, you don't have to know specifically what chet you committed, whether you ate nevela, whether you ate chaylev, you bring the same chatas. So high ba, the ba that Rabbi Yoshua learns by avidly, what does he do with that? Prat lemisasek, because if you're just, let's say, completely unaware of what you're doing, that you're not even doing that mice, it's like you're rolling some balls in your hand. You don't even know what you're doing. It's misasek, and then you committed an aver doing that. That's not even considered an aver. That's not even a shogeg that brings a korban. Rav Yochanan Amar that the only difference between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Kiva is mashmos dorshnik binayu. What's the source for the Isser? But they both hold the same halacha. Chinam Rav Sheshes mashmos dorshnik binayu. Rav Sheshes machlif Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Kiva Rabbi Eliezer. They actually switched the different shitas. It didn't make a difference because really there's no difference lahalacha. They have to bring a korban no matter what. Boy minei Rav and Rav Nachman. So according to Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Kiva, helam zev zev yado. Let's say you forgot that you were tamei, and you forgot that you went to the base of Mikdash. Mao Arbelay, wait, hare helam tuma biyado. Chayiv. There is an issue of tuma. So the Gemara says, Adra hare helam Mikdash biyado. The potter, because remember, according to them, you're only chayiv if you forgot about tuma, but if you forgot about Mikdash, you're not. So Amrav Ashi Chazinan imi tuma koparish. If when he's informed that he was tamei, he separates himself. So then we know retrospectively, we know the forgetfulness was regarding tuma, so he'd be chayiv. And mikdash koparsh, if he's told, oh, you're in the base megdash, and now you leave, so harei helam mikdash biyado upater. So Ravina rejects that. Armle Ravina Ravashi. Klum parsh memigdash elam mishum tuma, and klum parish mituma elam mishum migdash. The only reason that you're leaving from the mikdash because you know you're tamei, and the only reason you're separating from tuma is because you're in the mikdash. Elaloshnes. So you can't really prove from this analysis. Tana Rabbana. In a similar vein, we have a famous case. Shnei shvilin, 2 roads. Echad tamei. There's a dead body underneath, lying widthwise along that road. The echad tahor, but we don't know which road is tamei, which road is tor. V'halach barishon v'lo nichnas. He went on the first road. Well, we don't know. It's a suffix whether he went into the tamei or not. And then he went to the base of Mikdash. Well, at that point, we don't know yet whether you can be chayiv. It's a suffix. However, after he did that, he went v'holach b'shvil hasheni. He went on the second road, and then he forgot that he was tamei v'nichnas, and then he went into the Beis Hamikdash chayiv. You're chayiv a korban because we know for sure that he became tamei since he walked on both of the roads, and he went into the Beis Hamikdash in the state of tumah. Another case, halach b'rishon v'nichnas. He went on the first road. He went into the Beis Hamikdash. V'hiza, and then he got para aduma sprinkled on him, and now he's tahor. V'tova. V'achar chalach b'sheni. Then he went on the second road. Now we don't know. Maybe now on the second road is also tahor v'nichnas. So the Gemara says chayiv. You're chayiv a korban because you went into the Beis Hamikdash with tumah. However, Rab Shimon Poiter, there's not for sure that you're tamei because he became tahor after the first, and even in the first case, we're not sure that he was tamei on the first road that he went. Rab Shimon ben Yehuda Poiter bekulon mishum Rab Shimon. Now bekulon vafilu b'kamaisa. Even in the first case where he went on the two shvilin and he didn't become tahor, mimanav shachtamihu. There's no question he's tamei in that case. Aber Rav Hachma eskinon kigon shahalach b'rishon uvisha shahalach b'sheni shachach shahalach b'rishon. When he walked on the second road, he forgot that he walked on the first road. Dahavilei mixes yediyah. When he walked into the Beis Hamikdash, he only had partial knowledge. And this, in fact, is the machlokas. Tana kamasover amrinan mixes yediyah kechol yediyah. Having partial knowledge is like regular knowledge. Rab Shimon sover lo amrinan mixes yediyah kechol yediyah. Okay, halach barishon v'nichlas. He walked on the first road and he walked into the Beis Hamikdash. And then Hiza. And then he had Paraduma. Vishana V'tova. And then he went into the mikveh. Chazer v'halach b'sheni. And then he went on the second road, V'nichnas Chayiv. Rab Shimon Poiter. Now the Gemara doesn't understand the first Tanav. Am I Chayiv? It's a suffix Yediyahu. On Rav Yochanan Khan, also suffix Yediyah ki Yediyah. Here they made partial knowledge or suffix knowledge like full knowledge. Reish Lakish Amar Hamani Reish Moli. Dabar lo be'inan Yediyah betchila. You don't even need any kind of Yediyah initially. Only if you're told at the end that you were Tommy, that's enough. However, Rami Rav Yochanan al Rav Yochanan. The Rami Reish Lakish al Reish Lakish, I'll show you a steer. The Tanya. Achal suffix chaylev, you ate a piece of fat. Maybe it was chaylev, maybe it's permitted fat. The note alone. And then you're informed that it's suffix chaylev. Vishuv suffix chaylev, achal suffix chaylev, v'noidelo. And he had another piece of suffix chaylev. Rabbi Omer, kashem shemevi chatas al kolecha ve'echad. Just like you bring a separate chatas. If vadai it was chaylev, and you ate it b'shoigeg, and you bring a korban chatas for each one, kach maybe yasham tola kolecha ve'echad. This is suffix. By a suffix you bring an asham toli, but it happened twice. You have to bring two asham tolis. Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon Amru, Mishum Rabbi Shimon. Einu mevi ela asham toli echad. I don't care how many times you eat suffix chaylev, you only bring one korban. Shneamar ve'evi ayil tamim al shigigosor asher shagag hatoyra rivsa shigigosor bevasham toli echad. If you had many shkagois, doesn't make a difference. You only bring one asham toli. Now, Reish Lakish and Rav Yochanan argued in how to understand Rebbe. Reish Lakish kan shana Rebbe yedios feikos mischakos lechatas. That in between one of these actions, you were informed that you ate chaylev, so then you have to bring two chatois. But Rav Yochanan Amar, Kishem sheyadis vaday ba'alma mischakos lechatos. You have to have absolute knowledge. For example, you ate chaylev and somebody has to tell you you ate chaylev. Kach yediyas sofik mischakos lashama. It's the same thing by ashram, and therefore you have to bring multiple ashrams. Bishlam Rav Yochanan, the Rav Yochanan loikasha. Kan by Tumas Migdash Doshav, they made asu a suffix yediyah like a full yediyah, but the lo b'chol Torah kula asu. But they didn't do that with other halachas. Hacha hu shalok ksiva yediyah b'adei, because by Tumas Migdash it doesn't say yediyah; it says vanilla uduka asi. You have to have a knowledge and forgetfulness, but it's not the yediyah that's important. But the lo b'chol Torah kula asu. But by other cases, they didn't say that suffix yediyah is like yediyah. Why? The chsiv ohoda elav. She yediyah ma'ayusim. You need a full yediyah. That's where Rav Yochanan learns. El Reish Lakish, Ademokim lei. You brought the case of the two roads, Rabbi Shmuel, that you don't need a yediyah in the beginning. Nukma karebi, that different yediyahs is machalik, and maybe you should bring korbanos. The chiddush is Rabbi Shmuel does not require any knowledge by Tumas Migdash Ukdashav. Pshita lo boy, midlo miyaser leikroy. There's no extra pasuk. But the nelam is machav al Migdash. Nelam means you forgot that there was base of Migdash here. Ma'od sema kiles lemekroy when we don't learn it from a pasuk. Ava migmor islay, but maybe from the source you do. Kamash Malon, that according to Reish Lakish, the way he learns Rabbi Shmuel, you don't need any kind of knowledge to begin it. Shavuos shtayim shenar. When you take a false shvua, you bring a korban oil of yored in 4 cases. Shavuos she'oichel, I take an oath that I'm going to eat this loaf of bread. Or v'shaloi oichel, or I take an oath that I'm not going to eat a loaf of bread today. Or shvua she'achalti, I take an oath that I ate a loaf yesterday. V'shalo achalti, or I take an oath that I did not eat a loaf of bread yesterday. Now, if I said shvua shaloi oichel, I take an oath I'm not going to eat today. The ochel kolshun, I ate less than a kazayis, chayiv de Rabbi Kiva. Even if you eat any amount, you're chayiv. Where do you find in anywhere in the Torah where you don't need a kazayis and you're chayiv? Where do you see another case where somebody makes a statement, he brings a korban? Shezeh medaber, who may be korban. So it's not the achila that is causing the avera. It's the fact that you broke your oath. So eating even a little bit breaks your oath. L'meimer shaloshen she'oichel da'achil namashma. It sounds like shvur she'oichel implies that he's going to eat. But reminu. It says in the Dori, shvua loy oichel lacha. It means I've taken oath I'm not going to eat by your house. Or shvua she'oichel lacha. Or I'm taking oath that I'm going to eat at your house. Or lo shvua she'loy oichel lacha. Double negative. Also, in all these cases, you're not allowed to eat. So the word she'oichel, at least over there in the door, means not to eat. When you say shvur she'oichel is dachil namashma, it means I'm going to eat. So loy kasha kan buy b'masech in the door and b'mi b'misarvim bolechol. This is somebody eat, and the guy says, "Stop it! I take an oath I'm not going to eat." It depends on the context. Han b'she'ein misarvim bolechol. Here, they're not forcing him to eat. They're not pushing him to eat. Okay. We'll stop here. The tzorba tonight at 8:00.
See you at 8.
See you at 8, Harold.